Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. And first of all, thanks for the invitation to this interesting conference today here in Milan. And I will briefly report on the status of the art of the covenant on measures in Italy. And as because my ministry, the Minister of Environment, has been playing a role on the promotion and on the coordination of the covenant on measures in Italy. But before that, let me try to complement somehow what some of the strategic elements we have has been introduced this morning by previous speaker. This is the situation at the European level about the 2020 targets. And it's quite reasonable that we expect positive results for at least for the first two binding targets, namely the CO2 reductions and the renewable energy sources target. I mean, as far as our information at the moment. This is a slide I took from European Commission General Director, so it's not from our elaboration, but it's Commission elaborations. And this is the reason also why there is a proposal at EU level to increase the binding targets. You know that there is a proposal to move on at least 30% of reduction on CO2 emission targets. Not all member states are on the same, not all member states agree on this increasing these targets. In the past, mainly Italy was quite fighting these more ambitious targets. I hope that now the situation is changed. I think that those positive expectations are also the results of the incredible and extremely positive involvement of the local governments. And for example, through the Covenant on Measure, but also through other related initiatives. I want to mention the Sustainable Energy Europe campaign. That was an initiative launched by, as well as the Covenant by the European Commission in 2005. That was the basis under which was then launched the Covenant on Measures. And this campaign was incredibly positive, to my opinion, because it involved a lot of actors, not only from public administration, but also from associations, social society, and private companies and individuals. So it's my opinion that we need to somehow create a sort of formal engagement of these local actors. In the previous presentation, we heard about the structure of the climate and energy package. So I will not go back on these issues, but I want to focus some elements of Marjan already highlights about this decision 406, the so-called effort sharing, because this is a pillar of the EU climate energy package, but is not well known, at least at the government level, I mean national government level. And this is important. Why? It's important because while the, for example, emission trading scheme is under the responsibility of the, I mean, is managed at the European level, the effort sharing will be responsibility of each member states. So, for example, our country, Italy, will present an action plan, sort of action plan, where we have to clearly define what actions wants to be performed to reduce at least 10%, this is the average at the European level, as already mentioned, is 13 for our country, for Italy. So we need to specify in this action plan which kind of actions, which kind of support the national government will present or will do towards the local governments or any other actors that we want to involve. The sectors under the emission traders are all the sectors outside the EU ETS. So, I mean, residential, transport, small and medium enterprise, and civil sector in general. These are exactly the sectors where the local governments has the main responsibilities. So just to go back another point, I think that this is the intention of the EU to give us this message. The effort sharing is the official link between the binding commitment at national level and the currently voluntary commitments at local level. I think this is a clear message that comes from EU. We have to think about that, and my government has to think about that. Okay, about the covenant or measure in general, already the representative from Jersey already said something, so I can skip this one as well. Yes, this is a picture about the numbers in Italy. I just downloaded the number last night, so there is more than 1,800 signatories in Italy. And I just listed here the main big cities, but there are hundreds and hundreds of small municipalities that joined the Covenant of Measures. And 18% of this incredible number, so more than 300 municipalities, have already submitted its Sustainable Energy Action Plan. I think we can discuss for hours to say if this is a positive result or still not a positive result, considering that all the municipalities in Italy are, yes, more than 8,000. So 1,800 maybe is still a short number. But it's my opinion that this is a very big result, because the covenant or measure approach is a dynamic, is a new approach that the success of this approach will be performed at the local level. And this is the reason why we got these incredible adhesions to the covenant, because the Commission, the European Commission, designed the involvement of other actors at different level, not only at municipal level, but also at provincial level, regional level. It's possible so to be involved as covenant coordinators, as already explained before. In Italy, we have more or less the half of the total European covenant coordinators, 62 at the moment, mainly provinces that decide to support with a direct commitment with the European Commission to support the municipalities on their own territories. Of course, some of these provinces worked very well and in a very practical and concrete manner, less others, as always. And before has been mentioned the province of Milan, that was one of the first entities that got also a lot of money from the Elena facilities. But now we have other two provinces, the provinces of Modena and the province of Chieti, that got as well some money from the Elena facility. That is not easy. I think later in the next session we can go into the details of EU funding, so we can explain better what are the difficulties to get access to this money. And so many compliments to the province, Italian province, that already got it. Some of the provinces put also some money on the table in order to support in practice the municipalities to follow the path of the Covenant of Measures, in particular to help them to draft the Sustainable Energy Action Plan, because this is one of the first elements that is still an obstacle for many municipalities, in particular for the small ones that have no internal resources, no internal expertise to draft the SEPs. Beyond the first level of supporting structure, we have also the second level, already mentioned. That means to be involving the associations and local authorities network. And here, for example, we have the Agenda 21 national coordination that was already mentioned several times, because from there we have learned a lot. That's why I want to reply the first question of Professor Palermo this morning. I do believe that Covenant measure is very different from the past. But I mean, we have to learn from the past, in particular from the process of Agenda 21, but we have to remind that Covenant measure for the first time sets some quantitative targets, quantitative objective to go. It seems simpler, but it's not simple. It's, I think it's a revolution. And of course, the cities, the municipalities that works a lot and well in the Agenda 21 process, of course, now they are facilitated. Many cities, like I remember Padova, Bologna, and others, that was very actively involved in the Agenda 21 process, now they can more easily go along the Covenant of Measure process. Okay, this has already been said, and yes. About my second part of presentation, we take, I would like to present you some economic resource available, but not at EU level, because it is a special session later on, but about the Kyoto Revolving Fund that is operating from 5 days, sorry, last Friday. And this is really a revolution, because this fund was designed more than 4 years ago, the financial law 2007. But up to now, it was never operated. Now it is, and last Friday at noon, it was launched, it opened the web application to get applications. And in less than 2 hours, we had more than 7,000 accesses, and with more than 600 applications for about 60 million euro. So just to say that it is a measure that a lot of people was waiting for. This fund, just to say the name, Kyoto Revolving Fund, it was designed to help Italy to reach the Kyoto Protocol targets. As you know, the Kyoto Protocol will go and end this year. The first commitment period of the Kyoto Protocol is 2008-2012. But we couldn't be able to use these resources till now, so if no advantage for the Kyoto targets, national Kyoto targets, of course we will use this money for the post-Kyoto, because the Covenant of Measures is designed as to be an instrument for the post-Kyoto scenario. The fund is managed at national level from our ministry, the Minister of Environment, and the Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, and the national bank associations. In particular, the Cassa Depositi e Prestiti will manage the administrative applications, the administrative part of the applications, and our ministry, the technical and scientific part. The bank association is involved because the proponents will present an application directly to the local bank. So there is a list of banks that agreed to be involved, so also the single citizen can easily get a discussion with people. The budget available is 600 million euro, divided in 3 yearly terms. So we are now open the first third, I mean 200 million euro. And this money will be a sort in the form of loans with fixed rates very, very low, very, very interesting, is 0.5%. And I do believe that in this period of short money and crisis and international crisis, I think it's a very good opportunities. There are 7 eligible measures, in particular energy efficiency and renewable energy sources. And the beneficiaries are also both public and private. The difference for public entities, there is chance to get till the 90% of the loans. To private sector, we ask to co-finance in a higher level, at least 30%. This is the link on the Cassa Depositi e Prestiti website, where there is a very good web application, so any details can be downloaded there. Just a few words on the 7 eligible measures that I remind you that they were decided 4 years ago. So when the covenant measures was still not in place. But you can see that the majority of these measures are also useful for covenant of measures process. Micro cogeneration, renewables, of course we are talking about small plants of renewables, electric motors and uses, because as you know, energy efficiency is the sector you have to tackle. Nitrous oxide, also the final 2 measures, research and sustainable forest management. It was mentioned in previous presentation about the role of the forest also on the covenant of measures. I remind you that the guidelines clearly states that the cities can't comptabilize the CO2 reduction from the forest sector, from agricultural sector, but it's possible for the single municipalities to include in their sustainable energy action plan those measures. So I encourage the cities to present specific action on this sector, even though this reduction will be not taken into account in terms of numbers. But it is a very interesting exercise, because in particular in the big cities like Rome, Milan, but others, there are a lot of land, forest, agricultural extension, so we can find also some interesting ways to proceed. For the first 4 measures, the fund finance the structure, the infrastructures, not others kind of, maybe I have a specific slide on that. Okay, first the beneficiaries. In practice, all the actors could request money for them. Private sector, particularly the energy service companies, individuals, associations, foundations, and of course public bodies. That's why this is an instrument also for the covenant of major signatories. In particular, this kind of loans can be, they will give back the money in maximum 6 years. But for public entities, this is an extension till 15 years. You can understand which is the difference. For public entities, would be easier to present projects if they have an horizon of 15 years to get back money. It is called Revolving Fund because, of course, there is it's possible to feed the fund self through the repayments of the loans granted. Oh, here you are the types of cost that can be presented. You can cover the system design, the cost of equipment, the cost of infrastructure, and the cost of installation. There are no operating costs covered, except for the research and sustainable forest management measure. So this is important because, of course, in particular for the forest sector, the main part of the investments are in operating costs. We included the sustainable forest management measure just to remind you the importance, because it was designed under the frame of the Kyoto Protocol, and Italy can cover 50% of its Kyoto Protocol commitments from the forest sector. That means more than 1 billion million euros. So that's why there is also this measure that, for example, is not fully considered in the covenant of measure, but there is a reason for that. We want to work in a collaborative manner from the different governance level. Already this morning has been highlighted the importance to have the different governance level, national, regional, and local governance that work together. Italy is not the best place where this multi-governance level has worked well in the past. So this is a new occasion, and I think that if we work properly, we can demonstrate that this is the way to go to help Europe, to increase the European targets. The proposal to increase, for example, the 30% CO2 emission reduction will be easily accepted if in each member state, starting from Italy, we accept the idea to work in an integrated manner among the different governance levels. This is an occasion also because the fund gave the chance for the single regions to be directly involved. At the moment, there are 5 Italian regions, Piemonte, Lombardia, Emilia-Romagna, Abruzzo, and Basilicata, that decide to manage directly the first 4 eligible measures: renewables, micro-cogeneration, and energy and uses, and the other one. For the others, that didn't explain, that they didn't decide to do that, it will be centralized. So the Minister of Environment and the Cassa Depositi e Prestiti will work for them. Okay, I go to my final slides just to remind you the importance of the training and information that we consider as a pillar of the EU policy energy. And I think it's my opinion that working well on this sector is the only way to have a sort of cultural change on energy. That's why the Ministry of Environment, together with other actors from public and private sectors, we perform a second edition of a set of conferences and seminars on the Covenant of Measures, also supporting the drafting of the Sustainable Energy Action Plan and financial solution for its implementation. We will start this year the second edition in Bari, in Puglia region, next 30th of March. And we have at least 20 seminar conferences from March to November of this year. Last year we had 14 seminars with in total more than 10,000 of public administrators involved. So I think this is a little contribution of our ministry to continue to promote the Covenant of Measures ideas at a national level. Thank you very much for your attention.